You're just moments away from a brand new episode of WTF Nations Radio's Pop Culture Warrior, hosted by the dynamic duo CQ and Radar. Pop Culture Warrior is your #1 source for all things entertainment. If it's happening in TV, movies, video games, or comedy, they're all over it. And don't forget to say hi in the comments below. And while you're at it, let the boys know what you think and what you'd like to hear them talk about. Now strap in and get comfortable, because you're in for one hell of a ride. This is Pop Culture Warrior. Shots.
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hey guys, welcome one and all. Today is December 8th, 2020, and this is episode 39 of Pop Culture Warrior, the show where I stay up to date on all the ins and outs of what's happening in pop culture so you don't have to. I am CQ, I'm your pop culture eye in the sky, and with me as always is our very own boots on the ground, the man in the bubble, the voice of the unpop cultured. Give it up, everybody, Mr. Radar! What's going on, buddy? How are you?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. It's Tuesday night. You know what that means. It's game time.
Yeah, it's time to start the show.
It's time to start the show.
It's time to do the show, y'all.
Let's go. Let's go. If you guys are out there, say what's up in the chat. Let us know you're here. Let us know you're watching. Let us know what you think. We want you to participate. This is your show as much as it is ours. Very excited. Big week. Big week in pop culture, in movie news, in gaming news, in TV news, just breaking news everywhere.
Man, I don't know. It's such a big week. Even I was finding shit. Randy, you found it first. Randy, you're like, I already know.
Oh,
I'm
man.
Like, look at all this cool shit I just found when I got home.
Behind the scenes, my man Radar is like, look at these cool things. I'm like, bro, that was like 3 days ago, man. Come on now. But you know what? You're getting better. You're getting so much better.
whatever. Hey, so I see No Shave November is not over.
Oh, never, never over.
I, I'm actually a part of it.
Yeah,
I've
no,
got my face.
it's I always end up shaving for like Halloween because of costumes and whatnot, and just to give it a clean start for November. And then I usually rock it until January, February. I rock it until I can't stand it anymore. But yeah, usually in the winter, man. This is my go-to, the winter beard,
See,
you
and
know.
I kind of go back and forth with it. I'll probably shave for the holidays just because people want to take pictures and all that. And like, I I love my beard. I'm actually my dad. I've only ever seen him like once without a beard. That's my brother's wedding. But so my dad's always had a beard, and I have an ugly face, so the beard is perfect for me. But but I always feel like I don't know. I don't do like the I'm sorry, I'm straight. I don't do like the beard oils and shit and all that. So they
All
don't seem
right.
all kind of disheveled and whatnot. So and I'm not saying you're gay if you use beard oil, but I'm saying you look gay.
I
That's all.
mean, I might dabble here and there in the beard arts, as they were. Uh,
The
you know,
dark beard arts.
yeah, I practice the dark beard art. No, I got a little balm just to keep the skin moisturized, little oil just to keep it controlled, but it's not something I do. I know guys that do that thing like daily, twice daily, three times
Right.
daily.
They
It's
just go
like,
around all day long. And they're like, "Oh, my beard's
yeah,
all peppermint."
no,
I'm like,
no,
take your
no.
fucking skinny jeans and your clean ass flannel out of here. I don't need that bullshit.
Maybe like once a week, twice a week, I'll throw some stuff in there just so my skin doesn't get real dry and stuff. But anyway,
Yeah, well, I mean, I do this weird. I wash it, and I do that.
I wash
Um,
it. I put soap on it sometimes.
no, I mean, well, I talk about being not gay, but I use like that whatever the 15 in one. It's like hair, shampoo, conditioner, body wash, toothpaste, fucking everything.
Yeah.
Champ paste, I think it's called.
Shit.
I use that, and so I rinse it out, and it's
I
clean.
wanna I wanna add that to the list of radarisms. Sham
Champ
paste.
paste.
That's another one. Mark it on the list. All right. Anyway, nobody's here for our personal grooming tips. All right.
They may
People
be beard oils gay.
the people are here for the pop culture news. Are you ready to give it to them?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's you. I'll sit here and be like, I'm
I
dumb.
mean,
You
we're
give them the
we're
news.
we're gonna
You
give it
give
to
them the
them.
news that I found 3 days late.
We're gonna give it to them good. All right, well, sit back, relax, enjoy your pop culture news. First up, man, there's so much. I can't fit it all. I literally can't fit it all. But we'll try to give you guys the highlights. So first up, oh, this is exciting, very exciting. Anybody that knows me knows I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. I mean, look at that. I rock it. I'm a big fan. Um, we have some news here. Some breaking news is that there were reported sightings of Alfred Molina on the set of Spider-Man 3. Now, for those that don't remember, Alfred Molina played Dr. Octopus in the original trilogy. He played in part 2 in the original trilogy. And there were some reported sightings. Obviously, nothing was confirmed. Well, a new report has confirmed the rumor that yeah, he's gonna be in the movie. Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2
Ooh.
is gonna be in Spider-Man 3. I've lost track of all the Spider-Mans. There's a Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man Home, whatever the hell they're gonna call it. Now, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy because I mean they've already announced officially that Jamie Foxx was bringing back Electro from Spider-Man 2, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which was the Tobey Maguire, god damn it, Andrew Garfield sequel. He was that character. So now we've got this. There's also reports. I've got it from a good inside source, a scooper, as you will, a guy who prides himself on getting the inside track, that says both Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire will be in Spider-Man 3, reprising their Peter Parker characters. Latest coming out that even Kirsten Dunst will bring back Mary Jane, and Emma Stone possibly coming back as what's her name? Yeah, Gwen
What's her
Stacy.
name?
Gwen Stacy. You can tell I'm such a huge Spider-Man fan. But bringing back Emma Stone as Gwen
I
Stacy.
don't even know their names.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy that they're. I mean, this comes also after confirming that. I mean, obviously, Tom Holland's gonna be there. Obviously, Spider-Man. But they said they're bringing back everybody from the Spider-Man movies that's been in there, his buddies and all the teachers and stuff. Then they also announced that Doctor Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch, was gonna be in it. And now you're having all these other, like, how many people can you fit into a movie realistically? And I mean, I would say that coming off of Endgame, the answer is a lot. But
I was just gonna say, if you're not seen, like,
it was a lot of people. But for the majority of the movie, it was only 6 people. For the majority, then there was like 2 or 3 scenes at the end.
People know like 6 to 12 people. It's really not that big.
Yeah, but like the last 20 minutes had a lot of people. But they're saying,
here's the deal with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm almost gonna say this could be a really good thing though, because you can actually, to me, there's a lot of holes in that story, right? You can actually really do some really good character developing if you have those characters together, right? And interacting with each other, and maybe in ways that you didn't before. You know what I mean? So you can actually do a lot of character development when you bring characters together like that.
oh, absolutely. My head is spinning.
What do you think? Is that the direction they're going? Are they going to try to build like a big mega Spider-Man universe with that? You think, or?
Originally, so from what I was reading, insider stuff, they were talking about that. Obviously in the Doctor Strange movie, which is coming, they were talking about, okay, it's the multiverse madness, that they were going to introduce the idea of multiple universes and timelines and all this and all that. Spider-Man will come out before that movie.
Oh.
So for them to just boom on the scene, here's everything. Now it's exciting, but it's also scary because as an MCU fan, I've always said the thing they do great is really build to a climax, right? They give us the hero movies before giving us the Avengers. They build up a story. That's what they're doing with Disney Plus. They're fleshing out all these smaller characters to bring them into the big screen. So the idea that it's just like, hey, the next Spider-Man movie has everything, like all of it. It's Avengers Endgame Part 2. Like, that's a little bit scary to me. Because it's just we're not getting a build to it. So it's really got to establish itself as a really good, we've always talked about this, a really good story first, a really good narrative first, and then you can play with all these characters. Maybe, yeah, we're hearing about all these characters. Maybe he jumps in, he falls through a wormhole and he's in that world for 5 or 10 minutes. You know what I mean? It could just be glorified cameos. They could have nothing to do with the main story. I mean, it's possible. It's possible.
No, it's possible, but I hope not.
Right.
Because here's I don't know, like, and I know I'm not as smart as you are when it comes to this stuff. Let's be honest. But I haven't seen all the Spider-Man stuff. I don't hate it.
Right.
I don't love it. I'm kind of whatever with it. Right. But it seems to me, and this is me being non-pop culture guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the reasons I really, really, really like, Endgame and Iron Man and all those characters, right? Because they have spent the time building them up and bringing them together, whereas I've never felt that with Spider-Man. I've never felt like there's been a congruency of all of the things. Does that make sense? Like, yeah. I don't know if that.
I mean, the only time it's just kind
of like they throw some shit on the wall and see if it sticks, and all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, now we'll just throw them on. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel as though, like, where Marvel has done a great job of bringing everyone together and finding a home for them in a little place and giving some backstories, and they have their own movies, and you get to know the characters and you see them interact together. I haven't felt that way with Spider-Man.
Yeah. I felt like you got to go all the way back. So Spider-Man 1 to Spider-Man 2 was really great. The Spider-Man 1 was very built to his origins, slow build. There was, the character development and they gave a lot of love to it. Spider-Man 2 really upped the ante. He said, okay, we're going to give you everything you love, but now we're going to focus really less on like building up Peter Parker as a character, but like now we can focus more on Spider-Man. And that was a phenomenal movie. When 3 came along, that's when the studios start seeing that green and they're like, okay, we need to add in 6 villains. We need to start building towards the next movie. And they did that thing that DC does, which is just try to cash in as fast as possible. And that's why a lot of people, felt like the franchise kind of died after that. It was too much, too fast, too much direction that they were taking from the studios versus the writers and the directors and things. And I feel like the MCU, since they've taken over, has done things their way and has focused on the story, focused on building the characters, and let it build over time. So I don't know. I'm optimistic. You know me. I'm optimistically
you're the
hopeful. Yeah, I want it to be good. I really want it to be good, and bring back all the parts that worked. This is an opportunity to say what worked about the original Spider-Man trilogy. Let's take that. What worked about the reboot? The Andrew Garfield-led Amazing Spider-Man duo. Let's pull that. What worked about the Tom Holland Spider-Man? Let's pull all that, sprinkle in a little Doctor Strange because everybody loves the magic, and and have fun with it. And I think it could be Into the Spider-Verse. Nobody, like, a lot of us were excited about it, but nobody thought, man, this is going to be a groundbreaking movie. Not just with art, not just with dialogue, not just with storytelling, not just with the love of the characters. Nobody expected it to be as huge and influential of a movie as it was. So for them to kind of be taking cues from that movie, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I mean, it's not a bad thing. I just worry, right? Because what happens this is the same thing that happened between the original Spider-Man trilogy and the next Spider-Man. There's only like 4 or 5 years between the two. So there's instant comparison. Well, we're only 2 or 3 years post Into the Spider-Verse, and now we're getting like a live action kind of imitation. So there's always you run the risk of like comparison and burnout or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But I think it'll be good. I think they can't screw this up. They can't screw this up. You got so much.
God damn it.
They got so much going for them.
You say that like they can't screw it up.
I don't want them to.
I don't want them to screw up either.
I really don't want them to. Oh, I mean, it's gonna be. Yeah. Oh. I really hope not. I really hope not. But.
I hope you're right. Okay, I hope you're right. I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer here.
You're trying to rain on my parade, man.
Up. I really, really do sincerely hope they don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
But don't say they can't, because I'll fucking show you how much.
Hold my beer. 2020. Hold my beer.
Hold my Deschutes I don't know.
Yeah,
whatever.
Nice. Very nice.
It's good. It's a Christmas beer. It's Christmassy time. Well, it's not here actually. It's like 70 fucking degrees outside today.
Lucky you. We're in like
I know it's
30s.
fucking amazing. So I'm gonna drink my Christmas beer, pretend it's Christmas.
So for those that are curious, they're filming Spider-Man 3 right now, slated to debut, God willing, December of next year, December 17th. We are 1 year and 9 days from the release of Spider-Man 3, Home of the Spider-Verse. I don't know if they're gonna call it something, but yeah, man, that'll be. Whew, if that comes to fruition, boy, you might not hear from me for a while. I might have to be in the hospital for a while, like get fluids from dehydration or something. I don't know. Anyway, enough of that. So the other big news, and this is huge. Now, obviously, that Spider-Man news was huge for me. This is going to affect a lot of people who enjoy movies, and I believe you're one of them.
I do like a movie from time to time.
Warner Brothers has officially announced that every Warner Brother film next year will be debuting in theaters and same day on the HBO Max. Same day and date. Every movie. I've got a list for you here.
A list.
I mean, it's starting in January. You got Mortal Kombat and the Little Things. In March, Tom and Jerry, The Many Saints of Newark. In April, Reminiscence. In May, Godzilla vs. Kong. June has The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. And In the Heights. July has Space Jam: A New Legacy. August, The Suicide Squad. October, Dune, and such and such and such. Obviously, Wonder Woman being kind of the first here in just a couple of days to do it. You know, I mean, this is a wide swing. This is unprecedented to say that, hey, look, all of next year, any of our movies, you're going to get to see it the day it releases at home on HBO Max. Like, they are swinging for the fences. Swinging for the fences here. I don't know. Just I got more to talk about this, but what's your initial? I want to hear you're the everyman. What is your take on this?
I like it, and this is why.
Okay.
This is theaters suck right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have been stagnant now for what 9 months as far as new content comes for movies.
Yep.
There's been a few little releases here and there, but I mean, not really. This is really a chance to kind of break that stagnant, right?
Mm-hmm.
And give. I really think that this is, and we've talked about this in the past, but I really think this is kind of the future for this.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas movie theaters are kind of, I think they're kind of a dinosaur in a lot of ways. And I know that you really enjoy going to the theater.
I do.
And that whole experience.
The whole experience.
I like sitting around in my underwear and not paying $15 a fucking popcorn. You know what I mean? Like,
true enough. Fair enough.
I'll pay a little bit more, especially with all the kids and stuff, if you can get it, say, like even if it's like a 12-hour rental. You know what I mean? Or a 24-hour kind of rental, like an Amazon kind of rental, how they do that on Amazon Prime. If they do something like that, or if you pay extra to get like a pay-per-view kind of it, or something like that, I actually wouldn't be against that.
Yep.
I don't know how many people would be, or would not be. I think that's going to change too as the coronavirus situation kind of changes, and there's like an ebb and flow to that as well. But if you can have it to where it's an option, they're still making money, right? They don't really give a shit probably about the theaters, whether or not the theater makes money. I mean, as a studio, they want to get a return on their investment, and they've paid these actors, they've paid to shoot it, to edit it, to do all the things.
They want to get something.
They want to get a return on their investment, and it's a quick way for them to do that. So, I for one, I'm excited for it. I see how it goes at the end of the year. And I think the way that we'll really be able to tell if this is successful or not is if other companies start following suit.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's my take on it. I could be wrong, could be right, somewhere in the middle, maybe. Who knows?
No, yeah, I agree. I mean, this is unprecedented. And so there was a comment by the chair and CEO of Warner Media. Says, obviously, we live in unprecedented times. We need creative solutions. This initiative said no one wants films back on the screen more than we do. We know new content is the lifeblood of theatrical exhibition, but we have to balance this with the reality that most theaters are reduced capacity. This unique one-year plan, we can support our partners in exhibition with a steady pipeline of world-class films while also giving moviegoers who may not have access to theaters or aren't quite ready to go back to theaters a chance to see it at home. And obviously all these dates are subject to change, obviously. But here's the flip side of that. Once that was announced, that Warner Brothers was releasing all of its movies on HBO Max at the same time as in theaters, Cinemark, one of the leaders in movie theaters, their stock fell 21%. AMC Movies, 17%. IMAX went down 7.3%. Like, plummeting. Now, the AMC, I read it for a fact that the theater chain announced that it was going to sell 200 million shares to raise $844 million so that they could stay in business, basically. And that's what prompted the big drop in the stock prices. Like, this announcement really hits them hard. It hits them hard, and it does give them something to hang on to, right? Because they're gonna get movies to put in theaters. It gives them a hope. but let's be honest, they're hanging on by a thread. Now, what is it? Jim says it also shows that the company wants to get content out for people, not just make money. I mean, that's true. You could kind of see it both ways. Like, hey, man, we want to get the content out there, but I think like Radar was saying as well, it's also them kind of saying like, look, we paid for all this stuff and we're going broke, so we need to start pushing out what we have and getting some of that money back. Now here's the last bit. Go ahead.
But okay, another question on this though.
Mhm.
Okay, not just returning on their investment, but okay, if they were to just release to theaters, right? More people would probably go see the initial release in theaters.
Sure.
I think that can be stated, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
But eventually, that movie is going to go to Netflix or going to go to HBO Max or whatever, or you know what I mean. All these different now streaming services. Just like before, it used to go to VHS or it used to go to DVD. That's the natural progression of a movie, right? They're going to be able to capitalize on all those people like me, whose theater is closed. Whether I want to go or not, theater's closed, right? Sorry about it, can't go. So they're capitalizing at more benefit, especially initially, right? But they're, once that movie is released to DVD or to streaming service, they can no longer get the type of return on that. So it makes a lot of sense in a lot of ways to them. Now, yeah, the stock price is going down for the theaters. They've been tanking anyway. Right. And it comes down to, right now it's kind of every man for themselves, especially in this market.
Right.
Because of what they've got going on. Right. You can't I don't know. Sorry about it. Suck nerd. Adapt, overcome. And that's what they're trying to do.
Embrace the suck, adapt, and overcome.
And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to think of unorthodox ways to pay their bills.
Yeah, right? and I think as much as the theaters don't like it, okay, so they don't do that. They put it in the theaters. They don't recoup their money. Now the film industry goes bankrupt. Guess what, theaters? No film industry, no movies to put in your theaters. So, you know what I mean? It's like, do you chop off the arm or do you chop off at the neck? You gotta stem that tide somewhere. And it unfortunately, if it's I love the theater experience. I absolutely adore the theater. Yes, it's overpriced. Yes, it's this blah 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 blah. But I love it. It's part of it reminds me of being a kid and stuff. And we always make a day of it. We go out to lunch. We watch a movie. We go out to dinner or something. Here was the caveat on the caveat is that Legendary Pictures, which is a production company. It's the production company that financed the making of Dune, the movie, which is a Warner Brothers picture. Legendary is considering suing Warner Brothers because they claim that Warner Brothers did not consult them about the streaming of the film on HBO Max. Obviously the production company is looking at it like you're cutting into our profits. They're probably seeing it like, oh, Dune doesn't come in, what was it I say? It was October of next year. So they're probably thinking look, it'll be fine. We don't need to cut our losses by putting it on HBO Max. You know what I mean? Because let's be honest, if I'm paying even $30, which is the most streaming they're putting right now is about $30 price tag. If I'm paying $30, there's 8 of us sitting around watching it. Whereas you'd be paying $15-20 a ticket, per person in theaters. And so they're probably looking at it as they're going to take a bigger cut. They're going to get hit harder. The production company's not going to get their piece of the pie, or they probably have something in the contract. They get X percentage of sales, and they're like, look, you're screwing our sales by circumventing the normal process. And I would love to talk to somebody that's really in the industry, because how does this affect this tension is going to start building, not just between theaters and the movie companies, but now the production companies and the financing companies and the Screen Actors Guild and the writers, and this is going to start really impacting everybody.
Right, but that also gets back to how long do you wait? You know what I mean? How long can these theaters hold out? And it's okay, but I'm not even gonna say like hell by January 1st, there might be some fucking shit they just spray in the air and it kills all the coronavirus and they're good to fucking go and nobody's gonna get sick from it ever again. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I don't think anybody does. No one's got a crystal ball that says what it's going to be like in January or March or whenever. I mean, granted, it'll probably go away about 3 days after Biden's inaugurated, but that's a different fucking story. But sorry about it. I didn't mean to fog everything up here. But genuinely, nobody knows where we're going to be at in 6, 9, 12 months.
Yeah, but had you also told us,
maybe saying all of the films next year might be a little hasty. I'll give them that. But to say we're going to start out see what we can do with this.
Yeah, you could even say on a month by month basis, like starting with the month of January, all of our films, and then like as we get into that month, and we're gonna keep this train rolling. Yeah, so I don't know.
But, I mean, but here's the other deal too. Like, if you wait a fucking year, how can you sue on perceived losses when you don't know what the losses they might be actually gaining from this? And I'm going to argue on the fact that they might actually gain considerably on this, given the attitude. Okay, if the coronavirus was gone tomorrow, okay, it's gone.
Yeah.
A lot of people have discovered how much more comfortable it is to not fucking leave the house. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to have people, and I'm not saying that the movie theater isn't a unique experience and everyone should enjoy it. I think I didn't like people before this started. I didn't like being around people. I don't want fucking someone sitting behind me fucking slopping on fucking popcorn and shit. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't like it. I don't like people. I don't like them. I don't like any of that shit.
Yeah.
I don't like the way they smell. I don't like anything about them, right? I can sit my fat ass on my couch and I'll pay a premium. And I think that's what a lot of people have discovered through this. They will pay a little bit more to not be inconvenienced.
Yeah,
right.
I agree.
You see that through like Amazon purchases.
I was gonna say, isn't that like the Amazon motif?
It is. It is.
Pay us for inconvenience.
Honestly, even for where I'm at, I save money on Amazon. A considerable amount of money on Amazon. So people are like, you should shop local. You know what? I was buying something for my mountain bike the other day, and I wanted to get grips for my bike, right? And I go to the bike shop, and they're like $60. I get on Amazon, they're $29.99. Of
course.
Half fucking price, right?
Of course.
Sorry about it, local bike shop. I could buy 2 sets on there for a cost of what you get. You know what I mean? Like, there's a point where it's no longer cost efficient to not use Amazon.
Yeah.
Right. And then too, like,
that's how it was when Walmart started. Remember when Walmart started?
Fucking smell someone else. I don't gotta fucking do any of it. You know what I mean? I just be like, okay, I need fucking whatever. I need toilet paper. Amazon toilet paper. Comes to my fucking house like 3 days later.
And that was what we thought about when Walmart first came on board. Remember, they were like, this is so easy. I do all my shopping in one place, and it's cheaper. And all this and all that, and like nothing will ever surpass this. Now, Amazon goes, hold my beer.
But I mean, Amazon's doing a hell of a good job though too of saying, okay, well, I mean, Walmart, I'd say between Walmart and Amazon is probably 30-70. I probably do 30% of my shopping in Amazon, 70% on Walmart, and that's basically my only options, except for like little shit. You know what I mean? I can't, whatever, but.
Yep.
I don't have to fucking even go in the store now at Walmart. I just say, I want lettuce. Please give me lettuce.
Send me lettuce.
I will come pick up said lettuce at 3:00 tomorrow, and I will go there, and there will be some pimply faced teenage girl will bring me lettuce and whatever else I think, lettuce and milk and all the other bullshit I think I need that day, right?
Yeah.
So why the hell should I go in there and deal with people? I don't gotta do this shit ever again. I think there's going to be some long-lasting effects from this. Some good, some bad.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the neat. I don't know how to say it. I think it's going to be a neat case study for this in human beings as a whole. How is this going to change people and change the way they shop, the way they interact with others, the way they entertain themselves?
You're taking us down the rabbit hole, bud. You're taking us down the rabbit hole.
A little bit. All I'm saying is I think that in this instance, they're being proactive. They're looking forward and saying, okay, what can we do to stay relevant?
Yeah.
What can we do to maintain our focus here? What can we do to to still make money and still provide a valuable product.
Agreed.
And it kind of seems like there's some people who are reluctant to the change, and
As
they
always.
are
As always.
as always. Yeah, granted, yeah,
It's always the way it is.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, but they're also, I don't know, they're not going broke. Sorry about it. Hey, Disney, how you doing over there? You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Quick shout out to the people that are in the chats, man. What's up? I got Jim, Captain, Padilla, Ginger. What's up, guys? How you doing? Thanks for checking us out, man. Saying what's up. Yeah. So that's the latest with that. I got some game stuff to talk about. Whoosh. Oh man, this is the week that I and so many other gamers have been waiting for. Do you know what week this is? Do you know what comes out this week, my friend?
no.
Cyberpunk 2077. The game that has been delayed more times than the Black Widow movie. I don't know. Something like that. This game has been in development hell for, it feels like 1,000 years. And it finally comes out this week. I'm super pumped. And just as a treat to the fans, I got the launch trailer. I'm going to share it with you guys.
I love launch trailers.
Let's check out the launch trailer for Cyberpunk 2077, which comes out in 2 days.
Test of a person's true value. Death. Facing you, staring it down. Johnny, I got you. Pressure's tanking.
It's neurogenic shock. He's dying.
Baby, you in there?
My head. So what now?
Now, you find out what it is you need to do.
A thing of beauty, I know.
You've never backed down from anything in your life, even when you maybe should have. You go through Night City knowing a stray bullet could end you while hailing a cab. But that's never stopped you from taking action. You believe you cheated death. It is death that has cheated you. If you gotta kill, kill. If you gotta burn it all to the ground, then let it burn.
Gentlemen, underground asshole, don't move!
Out of my house, no! Will never fade away. What you did to me, I know. So how I find a way, but I think of beauty.
Would you rather live in peace as Mr. Nobody, or go down for all time in a blaze of glory?
Will never fade away. Will never fade away.
Woo, baby. How was that? Man, goodness gracious. Woo, I'm like sweating over here. That was awesome. I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped to play that game. Anybody out there getting Cyberpunk 2027? Yeah, 2077. Let me know. Curious. Probably the only one. What do you think, man? You're not as much a gamer. What'd you think?
I'm not anymore. It looks pretty neat. It looks pretty neat. It looks fun.
It looks
does look
pretty
fun.
neat.
How neat is that? Oh, it's pretty neat.
It
I
looks pretty
don't
neat.
know, dude. I'm not excited about it right now. I try not.
Really? Really?
I mean, it looks fun. It does. It just kind of looks like I don't know.
Yes. Captain, yeah. Got that Blade Runner Fifth Element 80s vibe. Yeah, I'm digging it, man.
Yeah, it's kind of like Grand Theft Auto. It's kind of like some Vice City bullshit.
Yes.
Got to it.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't look like shit. It doesn't look horrible. It doesn't look something like I would not enjoy.
It's been in development hell forever. I hope It's
Joe
good.
Doppler, is it good? Hey, Joe Doppler is already installed. Is he good, buddy?
Yeah, I don't think it's. You can see he's smart. You can actually pre-install it, but it doesn't
Yeah.
unlock until the 10th.
Oh,
Yeah, it
All right.
basically saves you because what happens is
Good.
everybody goes, "Oh, it's the 10th. I'm gonna play it," and then it's like an 80 bajillion gigabyte download, and you're like, "Well, I guess I'll be back in 6 hours."
Yeah,
So they're letting you pre-install it. If you guys have bought it, pre-install it now, so that way on launch day you only have like an 80 gigabyte update before you get to play it.
Yeah. This is it. This is the whole thing right here. Troy Brown says, "I get GTA vibes. Like I'm gonna play it for a while and then get bored killing pedestrians. 100%.
How do you get bored killing? Was
done
it
getting sucked off by hookers.
beating, or is it running over and beating prostitutes with a bat? Remember the classic, like,
Yeah.
back a truck onto them? How do you get bored with that? It never gets old.
Yeah, then you gotta clean out your wall locker and shit. Wait, what?
No, I will give him credit.
But genuinely, I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know.
The thing.
I just get.
Go ahead. I'll let you talk first.
I don't know. Is the map huge like GTA?
So
GTA.
that's I was going to touch on that. Is that I think they're making the right decisions. It's not a super huge map like GTA 5, where it will take you some time to get around. It's a smaller map. It's very detailed. There's lots to do. They've reported that there's going to be like whatever your play style is, you'll be able to do that. It's just going to be so much variety. I know one of the guys that got an early test was like I'm 80 hours in and like I haven't even finished the game just because there's so much to do. I get sidetracked. I go chase this thing down and then I go do this thing and I go do that thing. So that it seems like it's gonna be fun. I like getting my money's worth from a game. I hate putting down hard-earned cash and then 6 hours later I'm like, well, that's done. So I want
Right.
something that's gonna be worth my time, and it seems like they're putting a lot of effort and thought into this game. There will be. So I was talking with my buddies today. There is some confusion about the multiplayer element. So for clarification, this is meant to be a single player game. There will be a multiplayer element to it. It is not going to be available on release. This is something that they're still working on and will come out later as part of like a downloadable content.
No, I'm out. I'm out. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know, dude. I can't. If I want to play something all by myself, I'll cut a hole in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? But in real life, like, okay. All this, I'm gonna be old for a minute, right? But
Go for
I'm
it.
using the term esports.
Grandpa
Right.
Radar.
But
Come on.
the internets and video games on the internets
Mhm.
have become a social interaction for people as much as, going out and having a beer with somebody.
Sure.
Right. You almost have to have, like, okay, Call of Duty. I buy a new Call of Duty game. I don't even touch the fucking campaign. I go right to multiplayer. And I go start fucking seal clubbing bitches. I don't even care. I'm good. Like, I don't need to fucking, like, I need to play the campaign so I can learn the guns. Fuck that. Give me an SMG. I'll run around killing bitches. You know what I mean? Don't need the other parts of it, right? Give me this fucking map where I go around killing hookers like I can in Grand Theft Auto, but in Grand Theft Auto I can do with my buddies. Why would I buy your game? You know what I mean?
Well, again, it's not gonna be there. It's
What's
just
that?
it's not gonna be a multiplayer game.
Right.
They just the focus was the single player, and that's what they want people
They
to
focus on the wrong fucking thing. They focus on the wrong thing.
I-
It's dumb.
I love multiplayer. I absolutely love it. I play a ton of multiplayer games,
Right.
but to me, nothing beats a good single player game. Nothing. It's just it I don't know. It's like going to I don't know. It's like watching a movie that you get to be part of and you get to have control of. I want to experience that. Multiplayer is great. Multiplayer is great, but there's so many concessions that they have to make in multiplayer because bandwidth and different systems and all these different things. Where single player you get the best of what your system can do, and I love that. But
I kind of understand that a little bit, where especially because you have the next gen console, that someone like me playing regular Xbox One is going to slow that down a little bit. But also, like, I don't know, dude. It's I love the games like Call of Duty. I guess I haven't put
Sure.
the new one yet.
Sure.
But when you kill somebody, you get that, like, what, 2 seconds of their mic. You know what I mean? Love
Right.
that. I live for that shit. I
Yeah.
live for that shit. Especially when you're like running a gun and bitches who are camping in some fucking corner somewhere, and you just fucking, it's like some 13-year-old fucking crying about how his mom's dead and like his dad's high on coke or something like that, but you still fucking murder him in the
games are you playing, man? Jesus.
I'm just saying, like, whatever. I like making those little kids cry.
I like it.
Yeah.
Robert in the chat he put in campaign is for when the internet goes down.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
Single players for internetless people. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, like, and every time you got that time, like, you're just like, fuck it. This got windy or some shit, and your internet goes out. You're like, well, I'll play campaign.
I guess I'll switch to single player. King
Yep.
says, I can't play single player campaigns after playing World of Warcraft. I guess, man. I guess. I don't know.
Like I said, it is actually more the interaction with other people.
Yeah,
especially
of course.
now in with the world the way it is. But I really, because we're homeschooled, our kids are at home, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my 17-year-old stepson, I think that's 3/4 of the interaction he has with other people is through his video games.
Right. No, I understand.
You know what I mean?
Here's my comparison.
Yeah.
Do you like to watch Netflix?
Kinda.
Do you like to watch Netflix in a room full of people while they're all talking about smoking your mom and doing this and doing that? It's like, how are you enjoying what you're doing if the multiplayer of it overtakes that?
Okay, no, but I'm gonna flip this around though. Okay. What you're doing in focusing on the single player aspect of it, right, is going to the bar and trying to find a quiet corner and like your thing. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
Like that when you have such a diverse playing style and group that plays it, and you get to kill little kids from like all over the fucking world, dude. That's the best thing about being an adult. I love this about being an adult. And I didn't do it this year, and I feel bad about it. Is going and buying like the new Call of Duty or whatever game that comes out that I want to play, getting it on release, right? Getting it in like fucking November, the 1st November when it comes out, learning all the maps, learning all the guns, leveling up a little bit, right? Maybe in like 3rd prestige by now.
Oh,
then
man.
when Christmas comes and all those kids get their brand new Call of Duty on Christmas Day and they're so fucking excited about it, and then just train wrecking them bitches, dude. And I'll play like hardcore Dom and like fucking just fucking train wreck them little fucking kids. And they're like, they just like jump in. They're like, oh, I'm gonna play. Nope, sorry about it. Fuck you, dead son.
Somebody needs to go back and clip Radar saying the best thing about being an adult is killing little kids.
No, don't
from
do that.
all around the world too. That was his exact. Now it's out of context, but those were his exact words, and I need someone to clip that and send it to me, please, because I want that on a T-shirt. Radar isms check. I'm gonna make a button that everything I push is like radar isms, radar approved. Anyway, yeah. Somebody in the chats, please back me up here. Look, I get it. Most of you guys are gonna be multiplayer guys. Someone back me up.
5 people. Radar's on. Yeah, you're right, man. Yeah.
Somebody back me up, man. Somebody let me know. Please let me know I'm not alone. I'm not the last bastion of hope for the single player developers.
The Carol bastion of fucking single player.
You're the worst. I hate you.
Anyway, back to the story. I mean, okay. I get it. I get that. I get where you can have a really cool campaign and a really cool, because it does give, especially when you have next gen console stuff, right?
Yeah.
It does give you the ability to really test out what that console will do. Right.
Absolutely.
You just paid a lot of money for better graphics, better processing, and all of the things, right? That you can really, they can tailor it to give you the gameplay experience that you deserve when you I totally understand that. I really do. I don't. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's
At least
not
Joe's halfway with me. He says single player is good, but at least make it like a co-op. You know, that way you can have two people in there. I'll give that. But okay, let me ask you this, right? So here you go. I got you. I got you checkmate here. You ready for this?
Yeah.
When you ask people, what is like the moment that sticks out in their mind, like Call of Duty 1, Call of Duty 2, what do you remember? What's the moment that sticks in your mind? 9 times out of 10, they're gonna be like, oh, the moment that in the story when the nuke hit and the character dies, or oh, the character gets shot and you have to switch to the other game. Like, it's those moments from the single player more than anything that stands out. Yeah, maybe they played more multiplayer. Maybe they put hundreds of hours into the multiplayer, but it's always those moments in single player that stand out in a person's mind. That it's this. Come on, you got to give me that. You got to.
Dude, okay, I'm old enough though. Like, okay, I'm gonna say like the original, like some of that old shit, like where you take the bridge at Remagen on that one, right?
Yeah.
You go across and you're fucking. But that was like really before multiplayer stuff, though.
Oh please, it wasn't. That multiplayer goes back to the original.
But I'm just saying,
by the way, you got King in here saying radar for president. So
fuck yeah, dude. I'm a president. No,
You're
I don't
rolling.
need no, because some bitch will come up like I got radars, baby. No, ain't none of that bullshit. But I'm just saying. And plus, I see, I ain't paying my taxes in like 10 years or some shit. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, like, real life though. No, man. And I didn't used to be that way. I did not used to be on the multiplayer train. Did not. It wasn't until the internet got considerably better, the rooms got considerably better. Because I mean, back in those days, you had so much lag and shit, and you had fucking back in the lag switch days and all that, and like even how was it? Modern Warfare 3, you still had, you relied on other people to be the host of a match, and and you got some shit.
Yeah.
With that, I mean,
hey, look right here. Chris got me. He's saying single player best moments. You go back to like Final Fantasy VII, Resident Evil 1. Those were legendary moments that will burn themselves into your minds. You'll never forget. Playing Resident Evil 1 when the dogs jump in through the window scared the shit out of me. Like to this day.
Yeah. Yeah, but is that more fun? Than playing like Hardcore Domination on Christmas morning and going like 75-3? I'm just saying. Like,
and just hearing kids cry in the background. Mommy, he won't stop. He won't stop.
They're the same corner with a sniper rifle trying to quickscope you, but no, you're there already. Fucking put mines on their shit. Whatever. Throwing knives across the map of them little bitches. No, that is way more fun than whatever Resident Evil bullshit from fucking 2001. Sorry about it.
All right, Jim. Them's the fighting words.
Years ago, got to grow up.
Jim over here saying, you know who hates multiplayer? Our little brother's just sick of being Luigi. All right.
Yes.
I don't know if you're taking a shot at me or what's up, man. You want to go? Let's go. I paused my game to be here. My single player campaign game to be here. Anyway.
Benefit, you can't actually pause those games.
Right?
There is a benefit to
Good
those.
luck pausing in the middle of Battle Royale.
When mommy wants you to leave the basement.
Ma, I'll be there in a minute. God, you won't get off my ass. All right. Anyway, moving on. I get it. You guys hate single player stories.
No, we don't hate it. It's got its place. It had its place 25 years ago. Now the internet doesn't suck.
Yeah. Look at Troy says I beat my nephew in Madden a couple years back and he cried. I felt so accomplished.
Yes. Oh, it's even better, dude. It's even better when like you get like a girlfriend playing like you're supposed to take it easy on me. No, bitch. Fucking don't just fucking smash them buttons. Like fucking good.
Oh man. You guys, you're giving me no hope. You're giving me no hope here. I'm all alone.
If you're looking to me for hope, you're looking at the wrong rabbit hole, son.
You messed up. You messed up. All right, let me say.
I'll give you hope you've got.
we'll do one more story here before we take our break and have a great guest coming on. So here's something exciting. I mean, I don't know. As a guy who likes single player games, I got excited. I don't know how y'all gonna feel about this, but IO Interactive, which is the legendary studio that has made Hitman games. You're aware of Hitman games, right? Bald dude, black suit, red tie. Yeah, yeah,
Player.
yeah. It's. I think there might have been some multiplayer at some point, but it's majorly single player. Anyway, the game that's legendary for making Hitman games has just announced. In fact, I have a picture. Let's see if you can put together what they just announced by this picture. It's a bit of a bit on the nose, but basically, they're working on a new original 007 game. So this is going to be an original James Bond story. They teased that they've been working on something special, and then they finally released, obviously, this teaser picture. And they're calling it, for now, Project 007. I love this. I love the thought of this because a company that is obviously very well versed in the stealth, gunplay, takedowns, gadgets, all that stuff is something that they're very familiar with. I think it makes sense. A 007 project for them absolutely makes sense. It fits in their wheelhouse. They said that it is a working title. It's a brand new James Bond video game developed and published by IO, featuring a wholly original story. Players will step into the shoes of the world's favorite secret agent to it's an origin story. They earn their 00 status the very first time you'll be able to play James Bond's origin story. So yeah, this is pretty cool, man. This is pretty cool. And not to mention that IO Interactive is actually working on the new Hitman game, which actually comes out soon. Hitman 3 is scheduled to be released January. Next month, January 2021. So we do have a Hitman game to look forward to next month. And then this is the project they're working on right behind it. So what do you think, man? What do you think about a 007 video game where you are earning the 007 moniker?
I don't hate it. I think that's that's an interesting take on it. I really, I mean, I this is it's like the opposite of what I just was fucking talking about. But okay,
just like that. Got it to flip.
I do kind of like games where you have to like earn your stripes.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Build up to the thing. Yeah.
Yep. So I think that's kind of neat where you have to kind of learn a little bit, learn about the game, do some gameplay. I like it.
Yeah,
I do.
We've got in all of the James Bond movies, there's never really been reference to his rookie days, as it were. The closest we got was when what's his name? The newest one. Oh God. Holy crap. I just had it and it completely vanished on me. The guy that's playing James Bond currently, his first movie as James Bond, there was that one scene right at the beginning where the guy's like, well, you don't have your 007 status. And he goes, pew! And he's like, I do now. Because it was like, that was the last kill he needed to get his 007 status. And that was like the closest we've come to seeing James Bond before he's 007. So it'll be cool. It'll be cool to see it. Daniel Craig. Thank you, Mike. My God, I kept wanting to say Pierce Bronson. I know that's wrong, but that's the only name that kept coming. But the captain brought up a good point. Said that, the classic GoldenEye game, I mean, nothing's going to beat that. As far as one of the greatest games of all time, the originator, before multiplayer was even a thing, the 4-player split screen where you just went ham on your family, that was, yeah.
Yeah, fuck them kids.
Oh, man. What was that gun sound again? That pew, pew, pew.
So good.
That was the greatest. They even tried to redo it. But anyway, now that we've done that, guys, we're going to take a short break. We have an awesome guest coming on. He is a director, editor, writer, producer. His latest film is about the long road home for veterans, for warriors that come back from war. It's gonna be a really great conversation. Stick around, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Shots.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
I stood there in that middle of church with a bottle of gin in my hand. I'm looking up at the rooftop like I'm trying to find my long lost friend. My days turn to nights, my nights turn to weeks when you're living life on the road. I'm halfway back to New Orleans with a few more drinks to go. I said, tip 'em on back. Well, let's tip 'em on back. I finally made it back to Bourbon Street, picking some of them old night bars, hoping I could find myself playing music on my guitar. For the kid around, they all shouted out as the drinks began to flow. I pulled out that old guitar.
Call the show now at 415-889-8367. The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Culture Warrior. Very excited. As usual, we try to bring you some behind the scenes look at the world of entertainment. My guest tonight is a 7-time Southwestern Emmy Award winner. He is the writer and director of the documentary Searching for Home, Coming Back from War, an emotional, unflinching look at returning veterans and their search for the home they left behind, physically, mentally, and spiritually. From World War II, Korea, Vietnam, to the modern day conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan, Searching for Home is a multi-generational chronicle of the men and women who have left home only to return to new and difficult challenges as profoundly changed people. Everybody, please give a warm welcome to director Eric Christiansen. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you, CQ. I appreciate it. It's great to be here.
Yeah, I really appreciate you taking the time out. I know we're all kind of cooped up and stuck in this crazy time. How are you? Are you well? First, let's check in with you. How are you doing in this crazy time?
I'm doing great. I mean, I just got in from a huge walk on the beach, and there's a huge swell pumping, and a friend of mine actually mentioned, you know, sometimes I kind of feel guilty about being able to get down here and do this. And he said, you know what, it really supplies your creativity, and it does recharge me. So that side of things, I'm doing well, and the family's doing well. Nobody's sick.
That's
we have
awesome.
a full house, and kids from 24 to 18. So
God bless, man. I'm happy to hear it. So obviously, anytime we have guests, you know, I let them know that this is predominantly we have a military audience, a veteran audience. So you know, we said you're a director, writer, editor. What is your connection with the military? Do you have family, friends? What's your connection?
you know, I think it's one of my greatest honors to be, you know, accepted into the military family. You know, I didn't serve. You know, my grandpa that was a Purple Heart Marine in World War I, and my dad was in the Merchant Marines, and you know, but you know, I didn't serve. My calling happened. You know, it started in a series of events. You know, that started with my home burning down in 1991, and then it progressed into me. I've been a filmmaker my whole life,
Mm-hmm.
and literally since eight years old, that's all I've wanted to do.
Wow.
And so when my home burned down in 1991, I was an editor, and I was doing a lot of music videos, doing a lot of commercials, very flashy stuff. But the recovery after losing everything in that fire was kind of my introduction to trauma and surviving trauma and recovery. You know, I took that opportunity. It took 7 months after the fire for me to realize that my home burned down for a reason. And it was to wipe my slate clean and give me a chance to start new on so many different levels. And that's when I made my first personal documentary called Faces in the Fire. And it was about the recovery of a group of survivors of that fire after the disaster. And it was about putting our lives back together and the hope and the healing after something like that.
Yeah.
And then it was 10 years later that started my whole career in documentary filmmaking. And it was 10 years later, after I'd done a lot of PBS work, a lot of other things, after people had seen that film, it won my first Emmy Award. And I was in a men's group, and Sunday morning, and I heard one of the gentlemen share that he was a Vietnam vet, Purple Heart, Silver Star, and a lot of stuff was coming up because his mom had passed away.
Wow.
And he was thinking of going on this motorcycle run from California to the wall in Washington, D.C. And I had been praying for another personal project, and it fell right into my lap then. And the next thing I knew, I had gotten up enough money to get a small crew and join these 300 Vietnam vets and their supporters on motorcycles. I was in a four-wheeler going across the United States to the wall. And it was more than a motorcycle run. It was a pilgrimage for these men.
Right.
And that film that came out of that journey was Homecoming: A Vietnam Vet's Journey. And that was my entree into the veterans world.
Right.
And it went over extremely well on public television, got my first New York Times review. But not only that, the outpouring of the veterans that have seen it and been able to use it as a tool to instigate healing was pretty much overwhelming. And so that was my beginning of working with veterans.
Yeah. And
And,
already, like, I mean, the nuance of it, it connects immediately with a lot of veterans out there. We had someone in the chat already just put up that, you know, I've been out for 13 years and I'm still not really home. You know, so that source material connects, I think, instantly.
you know, it's interesting. It was almost 8 years later that I did Searching for Home, Coming Back from War, and it was about not only the Vietnam veterans, from veterans of all different generations, but an overwhelming theme of my work is the search for home with the veterans. And you know, unfortunately, I have learned they never fully come home, but they learn how to integrate it into their lives and then use it as a positive force that then becomes hope for others that have went and served our country and given so selflessly.
Yeah.
And that's the overall theme. It's the truth. It's what happened to them. It's the healing. It's that point when they find out there's others like them. It's like, oh my gosh. I mean, it's some of these guys come home and they get so isolated from their unit and from being able to have the camaraderie that they think they're the only one this experience has happened to. And so once they find others again in civilian life that are recovering and working through this trauma and dilemma, then they're able to identify and connect with that group and then pick up the hope from these other guys that have already went through it. And so that's what my films try to portray.
Yeah, I mean, it really is beautiful. It's touching. I personally, I'm a veteran, Purple Heart, wounded in combat, and when I went through the hospital, and there was so many years that were dedicated to my physical health, and I think they're doing a better job of it now. But at the time, this was 2005, there wasn't a lot of help given to my mental health. And when I was released, like so many others, I was lost, and I didn't really know, you know, heads or tails of like, what am I going through? Why am I feeling this way? And why am I so lost and disconnected? And I'm sure you saw that a lot with the people that you talked with and experienced. But yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. It was when I started connecting with other veterans, connecting with other people that were sharing similar feelings and similar struggles that I started to, not that it normalizes, but that it, you know, it gets better, and the burden gets less and less the more that you talk and share. So first off, thank you for what you do and sharing that and showing that, because, you know, if I got to see something like that when I was at my worst, I might have come out of it a lot sooner, knowing that was, you know, something out there.
Well,
go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, thank you so much. I appreciate that, because this, you know, I don't like being called a filmmaker because this really is my calling. It's way more than me finding something that's really dramatic and trying to portray the drama. It's not about that. It's about using film and using the whole experience of being in the film for these veterans and the other trauma survivors now with my next film. The whole experience of being in the film as a vehicle for healing. So it becomes a calling and not just me trying to find drama in somebody else's suffering. And that's very important to me, that clarification is made.
Yeah.
And also a big part of my films is about the hope. It's not just about the drama. So I appreciate you thanking me.
Absolutely. It really does. It's kind of interesting that, you know, your home burns down, everything burns down, and very much like the phoenix, right? It something comes from the ashes, this new purpose to be a filmmaker, not say filmmaker, to be, you know, someone telling these stories and sharing these stories, and that's incredible. And I think, you know, that there's something there, I think, for other people to take a lesson from, right? Because you went through this thing that, I mean, for so many would be this cataclysmic event. You know, your world is torn apart, and you have every reason to be woe is me. How did you? Because I think this is something people can learn from. How do you come out of that and say, wow, okay, that slate is wiped clean, and I'm going to now follow this passion?
You know it. You know what? You have to. I was going to say you have to get your ass burned. I don't know. I don't know about the audience out there. I'm really sorry, but you do. You have to get to the point sometimes until it's bad.
Yeah.
And it got really bad after the fire for me, and because I also have a problem with alcohol and drugs.
Mm.
And I had a problem. I still am an alcoholic and a drug addict, but I've been in recovery now for over 29 years since the fire. And that's, it took me getting to my low point after the fire to reach out for help.
Wow.
And I think I see that time and time again. If it is PTS, or if it's alcohol, or if it's drugs, you have to hit your bottom.
Yeah.
And then you get kind of humbled, and then your willingness comes along, and you're able to ask for help, and then that opens up a whole door to a whole brand new world, because there is recovery, and and that's what my films try to portray too.
That's amazing. I mean, thank you for sharing that. I know that's not the easiest thing to share, and I've seen it. I've been very fortunate. I've been a part of a lot of different veteran groups, and I've seen it where you like guys are just, man, you're like you're days away from just it's done, and hitting that rock bottom, and being able to reach out and get the help and make the changes that you personally need to accept and change. I've seen some incredible things, and veterans go on to do incredible things when anybody else might have written them off. And I think that's something that veterans are really good at is coming back from against all odds, right? And the chips are against you and everything's down, and they find a way to persevere and drive on. It's an incredible thing. So have you seen that a lot in working with the different veterans through the generations? Is that something that's kind of like a core line that goes through all these generations, that kind of a personality or that ability?
Oh my gosh, that's my biggest gift, is to be inspired, just to be audience with these people, or just to call them friends. Because, my biggest heroes are the guys that have come home and taken care of business and got their lives back together and got their jobs and have families, and the older guys. I mean, man, working with Fat Cowboy, he was a Korean Fat Cowboy. That was his nickname.
Sure.
Korean War veteran, Purple Heart Marine from the middle of nowhere, Kansas, salt of the earth guy. And he was not about to ever admit that he had PTS. And, he wasn't going to sit in any groups with what he called hairy-legged old boys. But when he discovered that, he did have some serious issues with trauma, and he started going to group, and then he started helping other guys that are coming home now, and being of use to these men and being of service to them. His whole life changed. And that's inspiring to me. 50 years of like not knowing what's going on, but something's really wrong, and he held his family together and everything. But man, when he got into the recovery, he jumped into it just like everything else he does. And he passed that on to a lot of young men that are coming home now. And gosh, to be around that energy, to be around that is just, what an honor to know men like that, and know men like you that went and did a job. It's the same thing that makes them sign up and go do that job and do it with their whole heart. I mean, it's like putting their lives on the line. It's the same thing when they come back. It's that same trigger they have, and if they can get down to it and get past all the other, what I call God blockers, what I call blockers, all the alcohol, all that stuff, if you can get past that and get into that recovery and ask for help, then they jump right into it. Those guys are my heroes. I can say there's a guy named Mike Pyre. He was in my film, Searching for Home, Coming Back from War. He was a tanker in Iraq. And I don't know how many IEDs he drove over, but the last one really, really thrashed him. Spider fractures, concussion, TBI, the whole thing. You know, it lifted his Abrams up and turned it backwards. I mean, that's a lot of power. But you know, he stayed there for another 3 months to finish what he had to finish, and then he came home, and he was a mess. You know, honestly. But now, you know, several years later, you know, he has baby Noah going on. He has an amazing wife. He loves hunting, has a great job, and it's just, man, it's just like, it's inspiring, you know, and I think these men need to be lifted up and need to be shown, and that's one of the reasons I make my films.
Yeah,
so you can see there's recovery.
There's a good joke, and though it's not really a joke in the chat. So Joe says, you know, welcome to the group with the highest trained alcoholics in America, and it's funny to me because part of the double-edged sword of like being a soldier, airman, whatever have you, it's like we do everything to excess. Like if you know, if you're gonna train, you train hard. If you're gonna drink, you drink hard. If you're gonna party, you party hard. It's always to the extreme. You know, I was infantry, I was airborne, so we took it to another level. We it was a challenge to see if you could out challenge your challenge. And so I do feel if you can tap into that same way of being with a positive outlet, right? With a message, with a how can I help others? How can I help my community? How can I uplift others? And you can tap into that same, I'm going to do it till the wheels fall off. Like there's no stopping that person from really achieving great things. So again, it's awesome that you highlight that and you uplift for the hope of it. You know, you got to, like, I'm jealous because of this you have this opportunity to speak with all these generations. And did you find, because I've found that some of those older generations, man, they're pretty tight-lipped. They don't like to talk about it. They don't like to relive it. They don't like to share about it. How do you crack that nut if you're trying to capture this?
Wow, that's a really good question. You know, I look at things quite spiritually and quite in a metaphysical way, and God's given me the gift of empathy. And it's not that I can read your mind, but I can connect with your emotions, and I can connect with people's emotions. And it's through that and gaining their trust and honestly caring and feeling what they feel that they begin to open up. And I've worked with Benny, a World War II tail gunner, and Fat Cowboy didn't want anything to do with this movie at the very beginning. But you know what? It comes down to empathy and love and being very clear with your connections with them, being transparent. You know, I tell my crew before we go into any situations, and I still do this with the film I'm working on now, that the subjects come first and their comfort and their healing comes first. And then, by the way, we get to make a movie.
Right.
And so this last film I worked on, I was working with Route 91 survivors. And these people didn't sign up to be shot at. And it just gets me emotionally. And so part of their sequence in the film, we went out to the beach, chose rocks for them, painted the rocks, and took them up to the Las Vegas Memorial. And it was a process. And that process for them came first. And getting them back to Las Vegas came first, and supporting them. And that comes first. And my veterans come first. And then, by the way, we get to make a movie. And that works on several different levels, because then the veterans that participate in the movie, for Fat Cowboy and his whole family, just being in the film validated his whole journey.
Right.
You know, Korea was a lost war. You know, it's like we don't hear a lot about that. But it was the most important thing in his life. Absolutely. And so to be able to tell his story and tell his story about recovery and validate that was a huge thing, not only for him, but for his family. And to be able to participate in something like that is just mind-blowing. It's what I call my soul food.
Wow. Are you allowed? Can we talk about your upcoming project? Because I'm fascinated by this.
Yeah.
I'd love to ask about this. So something like the Las Vegas shooting, like that. I mean, a day that I'm sure so many people can't forget. And like, it's, oh, I can't even wrap my brain around it, to be honest. And the fact that, like, okay, I'm an infantryman. I go to war. I expect that a part of my job is there are going to be people shooting at me. That's just a reality of my job. I could not fathom being however old and like, I'm going to go to this music festival and, oh, there's a chance that bullets may rain down upon me. Like, I let me ask you this. I'm going to formulate a question here. It's just, it's so, wow, that moment.
It is. It's hard to get your brain wrapped around that because, as I say, they didn't sign up for it.
Yeah. So, do you think that as a filmmaker who now has had a lot of time and opportunity to work with veterans, work through their stories, work through their trauma, talk about combat and the things that they've seen, do you think that that helped you better emotionally connect to these survivors of this I mean, heinous act?
That there is no doubt that my it's almost 20 years, well, it's over 20 years, I think, of work with veterans prepared me to be able to connect and accept or receive some of those feelings and some of that emotion. And but it still is exactly what you're trying to state. It's very hard to put into words and to hear their stories about the twist that happened between, you know, listening to your favorite country star and then not knowing what's going on. You know, is it fireworks? Is it, or is somebody in the venue? Where is this coming from? It's like, it's so unreal.
Yeah. It's chaotic.
That twist is still very, very difficult for me. And it's a tough one for them.
Yeah.
You know, but one of the survivors that's in the film, she survived Route 91, and then she ended up at the borderline bar where there was another shooting.
Wow.
Here in California, and she's been through 2 shootings, and there's no words for it, you know. But what she said, and it's in the film, you know, she heard she's the second she's in the borderline, and she heard the pop, 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 and she said, "Oh shit, it's business as usual. I got to get my ass out of here."
Wow.
Because she knew what it was right away. So there's a big societal problem there that happens, but what for the individual too, it's so deeply devastating, but also to see her though and watch her heal and be able to walk with her through the Las Vegas, because she was never going to go back to Las Vegas,
right? To
walk through that memorial and watch her heal. Yeah, it's amazing. But yes, it did prepare me. There was, you know, it prepared me to try to take care of them.
Yeah. Yeah. To understand, you know, maybe a little bit better.
I'm just not there to squeeze out a story.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
I'm there to, and the interesting thing is, with both the survivors from Route 91, and one was a dual survivor, you know, they, in our pre-meetings, they were able to talk to their therapists and tell them exactly what I was doing. And so I was basically screened by their therapist. So the therapist could also walk them through this event and being in the film at the same time. And that was very, very important to me, because I do not want to cause any damage by making my films. I want to have the filmmaking be a process, be a plus for anybody involved in the film. And it has been since the very beginning of my very first film, Faces in the Fire. I have not had anybody come up to me and say, "I wish I was never in this film."
Right.
I have people come up to me constantly and say, "Thank God I was in this film." The veterans and now with Unmasking Hope. So
yeah,
it's
I mean it's almost a form of therapy. It's a cutting edge, you know, because it's part reenactment, it's part processing, it's part all this. So it's almost a sense of therapy in a way.
You know, and I've discussed that with I have some really very, I guess, cool um, people that are oversee my work that work with me as clinical supervisors. I have Dr. Amit Etkin out of Stanford University. Now I'm working with Catherine Shears, Dr. Catherine Shears out of Columbia University. But Dr. Etkin and I have talked numerous times. I mean, one of my dreams is to go back to school and use some of my film work, as course study, and then get some sort of degree, and then continue doing therapy based on video work.
Yeah. Oh, that's incredible. I'm curious for you now, getting to sit down with both groups, both the veteran and the civilian. What have you seen in sort of their trauma that is similar, but also what's different, right? I'm curious of that duality. What is similar in the trauma, but what is also different?
Oh my gosh, that's a really good question. That makes me really think, because in Unmasking Hope, I've dealt with mass shooting survivors, sexual trauma. I've dealt with 9/11 survivors, first responders. God, thank you. This is just downloaded to me. One of the commonalities of this, that I see quite often is survivor's guilt. And the people that make it to the other side, survivor's guilt is a big issue. And as you know, it is a big issue in the veterans world, because you build this huge camaraderie, and then it's like, okay, why did this happen to somebody that was right next to me, and why am I home?
Right.
And oh my gosh, dealing with the 9/11 survivors. Why didn't I take the elevator? Why was I able to be in the lobby and run out of there? Why did somebody else, make it out? Why? And then with the mass shooting survivors, survivor's guilt is very much ties them together. Now, the difference is, I try to focus on the similarities in my film, because I believe that we're built by the Creator with this innate ability to heal from trauma. And It's just like having a scratch or a scab or something, how that would heal. I feel it's the same process no matter what the trauma is. And so I think there's a lot of commonality. It's just different situations. So I got to tell you, I have a hard time saying what's really different between the two. I mean, people will say, well, the veterans knew it was coming. They signed up for it. They knew it was part of the deal.
Right.
Well, I don't think that's really valid, because we're humans, It's just because they have more, I was going to say they have more balls, but no, I not more than, but you know what I mean? It's
sure.
Just the veterans go into it and they understand, but still we're human when it comes down to it.
Absolutely.
And trauma affects us the same way. So, I have a hard time really answering, to be honest, the question of what's really different in it.
Yeah.
One thing that I do notice, though, is in certain cases, it definitely is tougher to admit. It just some certain traumas get publicized a little bit more, and it becomes more common, as opposed to a sexual assault trauma and things like that, especially sexual assault for men, which we also cover in Unmasking Hope. That's 1 in 6 men are sexually assaulted at some point in their life growing up and until adulthood. And that I guess that's one of the big differences. That's a lot tougher. There's certain things that are a lot tougher to speak out about because of the stigma, even though there's a lot of stigma attached to PTS and in the veterans community because of the hiring and things like that, and jobs and things like that. But that's one of the differences, I think. So I hope that all makes sense.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you've seen it more than me in my small case studies. But I would also curious to ask in resiliency, in the sense that like you said, the trained combat fighter. I mean, let's be honest. Nobody is trained to watch someone die. No one is trained to be there in an explosion. Yes, we're trained on what to do when certain things happen, but those experiences, regardless of how trained you are or not, it's still going to kind of affect you to your core. My question more is the expectation that everyone else has on the survivor. So if you're a survivor of a shooting, well, it's understandable that you're shaken up. It's understandable that you're experiencing all these things. But you were a soldier, then you should be trained for that. You should be, suck it up, drive on. You should be tougher. And do you think that maybe from a public perspective, is there more empathy for the civilian trauma versus something like a veteran trauma?
Oh, yes. And that goes back to that kind of feeling like, well, they signed up for it, and so I think there is a considerable amount more of sympathy, I guess, if you want to call it that, for the civilian trauma. But also, the interesting thing is, and I can't say this through any sort of fact, but I think there's also, though, for the civilians, at least for the 9/11, and I know even for the mass shooting survivors, it's kind of like there's a feeling of, are you not? Why are you not over this yet? I mean, we're rolling into 20 years on 9/11,
right?
And one of their biggest problems, as I see it, one of the biggest problems with some of the survivors is, that's almost 20 years ago, and you're still stuck there,
Yeah.
And I think that still happens in the veterans community. I'm sure. I mean, I hear that. Why aren't you over it? That's a classic thing.
Sure.
But I do see that fairly prevalent in the civilian thing, and especially the sad part of the mass shootings. And thank God, I just don't want to even say anything with this COVID thing and everything. It seems like there's been at least a lull in the covering of them, or there hasn't been that many of them. I don't know if it's the media or whatever. But what I'm trying to say is, it got so commonplace for a while that it just was kind of brushed away. So, only 7 people were shot there,
right.
So that's not a big one.
We're down to a few thousand deaths.
Whoa, that's kind of like some crazy societal stuff going on there. But for the survivors themselves, they start to believe that. Well, it's kind of it's kind of commonplace now, and it's just like, I don't say the survivors actually say that, but I feel this feeling with them that edge had been taken away from the public looking at it. That edge and that shock was starting to wear off,
right,
about these mass shootings, and I think we still have to be aghast and shocked about that happening, and then understand the severity of it for the survivors, because that's directly connected, if that makes sense too.
Absolutely. I don't want to take away from this is a great conversation we're having. Somebody in the comments was asking where can they find your work, so I figured this would be a great time for you to plug your work.
Well, you can you can watch Searching for Home, Coming Back for More on iTunes, Google Play, all the usual. I think I'm not sure if it's on Amazon anymore, but iTunes, Google Play, Vudu, all those outlets. Searching for Home, Coming Back for More. You can search that, or you can just Google it and come up and watch that. Or if you're interested in seeing Homecoming and my older films, Homecoming: A Vietnam Vet's Journey, you can go to truthhealinghope.com, and we have DVDs and things there. But also, just to find out what I'm doing and connect with all the different films that I'm doing, you can go to ecproductions.com.
Yeah, we have one of our people put it in the chat, so ecproductions.com is right there, the link in the chats. Are you on social media? Should people be following you?
Yeah, if you could, we have Unmasking Hope, and we have Unmasking Hope on Instagram at Unmasking Hope, and Unmasking Hope on Facebook, and that's the latest film. You can also find Searching for Home, Coming Back for More on Facebook and Instagram too, but it's been released for quite a while, so it's not super active.
Few years, but yeah, no, that's awesome. I think people need to see it. I mean, those are stories that need to be told and need to be lifted. Do you have, just curious, how nearing completion is the recent project? Are we going to see it soon, or sooner rather than later?
Well, here I go on another pitch.
Go for it, man.
We are on target to finish it for a premiere on public television on the 20th anniversary of 9/11. So,
oh, wow.
9/11/2021. So it's going to be the 20th anniversary. I'm stressing right now because I start serious post-production in January, and then we deliver to our distributor in June, and we have raised an amazing amount of money. We have partnered with the International Documentary Association, and we're under their fiscal sponsorship program, and that meaning that if you were to donate towards the film, it is actually part of a 501c3, and you can write off any sort of donation towards the film. And we're literally, using a football analogy, in the red zone on this, trying to finish this up. And it's just kind of a crazy thing now with COVID and everything. But all my other 3 films, we've had so many obstacles and we've overcome them. But if you're interested in helping out with Unmasking Hope, you can go to Unmasking Hope the movie and hit the donate button, and it'll take you to the International Documentary Association, and you can donate through that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely put it up in the social media. It's a help what we can to raise funds, because I mean, they're good stories that need to be told. And we're running short on time, but like, there's just so much I want to ask. Getting to tell these kind of stories, what kind of pressure is that on to you, right? To do justice, to tell someone else's story, to have their story in your hands, and you want to put it out there. Obviously, the best way that society and the media and people are going to take it, but also in the way that does justice to that person. I mean, how are you not a ball of nerves and a wreck handling people's stories?
That's a great question. And I've done this enough that I have an innate sense of where it's going to go. It's very, very important that I've been given these sacred stories, and I'm in partnership with God as my producer, literally, to tell the correct story. And time and again, those decisions and things come down through the channel that I have, and it's an interesting way that I work. But how do I not become a ball of nerves? Is that I put it in his hands, and I'm a messenger, and I've been given these incredibly sacred stories, and I understand that. I understand these stories. Some people have not told anybody else this story, and I've been handed this story to tell. And so I treat it as such, and then the spiritual aspect comes in of the process of editing and putting this thing together, and I've learned to trust that, and it's a unique way to work, I guess. I haven't heard too many other filmmakers talk like that, but my work speaks for itself. My other 3 films, and it's one of the biggest. I get 2 big compliments. One of it is, "Are you a veteran?" And I'm like, "No, I've just been given this gift of being able to tell a story." And the other gift is, after a screening of, say, Searching for Home, Coming Back for More, I have certain people on certain factions coming up and saying, thank goodness you're finally telling the soldier story, et cetera, et cetera. And they're kind of more, I hate right and left. It's like whatever, you know,
Right.
but they come up, the right come up and they go, thank God you're finally telling that story. But then you have the left coming up and saying, thank God you're finally telling the plight of the soldiers and what's really behind it. You know what? My films aren't political. It goes down the middle, and there's stories about the soul. If I stick to the soul story and don't bring in the politics, I've had people say, hey, you know, Homecoming and Vietnam Vet's Journey is the first film I've seen about Vietnam that's not political. It's not.
Right.
I don't take sides. It's not about politics. It's about the journey of those men's souls.
Yeah.
And the recovery. And so that's where I stake my, you know, put my flag in when I'm working on this. And it's not something that really affects me that way, because I've done it so much and I know that I'm being guided.
Wow. Yeah, God bless, because I can't imagine the pressure. I have enough trouble knowing my own story and being able to tell it coherently, let alone, you know, the pressure of telling other people's story. Where do you, just out of curiosity, where do you, you know, when you decide, okay, this is gonna be my project and these are the people I want to talk to, how do you go about rounding up these people and then deciding who's the story that I want to tell and who's not?
You know, gosh, there's two questions there. How do I round up the people, and how do I do
Weed
the
them out.
editing of who it's,
Yeah.
How do I find the people? You know, I don't know if anybody ever remembers the film Close Encounters.
Well, come on, it's classic.
You know, they're struck by that vision, and they find us.
Wow.
The right people find our film to be in the film, and it's happened time and time again. Somebody will drop out, you know, and all of a sudden we're like, oh, bummer, we had that was going to be a great story, da da da. And the series of, quote, circumstances will start to happen. And then we'll end up with this one person, and they were supposed to be there the whole time. And it's just, it's a certain way of working. It's a certain way, I don't want to say patience, but it is kind of a metaphysical way of working, knowing that when you have the right intentions, the right things show up at the right time. And we do it is intensive work to find the correct people.
Right.
But it's also when the people drop out and they're not, certain things happen, to allow that to happen, because then the right people will find the film. So then the second question is, when I'm in the edit suite, who stays in and who stays out? That's one of the toughest things that I have to make, the call. You know, I've had to drop, you know, but the first cut of Searching for Home Coming Back from War was 3.5 hours long.
Wow.
It's like somebody's going to have to be cut out of this film. And so that, again, that becomes a question of what's really serving the film, you know, and it's interesting because my films, I've had distributors tell me before Searching for Home was released, oh, people don't like too many stories in one movie. They want to hear one story. And I use an aggregate. I mean, I already have 10 people for an hour in Unmasking Hope, but they all tell the story, and I find the right place for each person to tell their part of the story. And it's contrasting and or supporting or mirroring, or it's even, you know, just showing a little bit of a difference in how people heal or whatever. And I find the perfect part with each person, and it's a big process. But so some people drop out of that because their voice just doesn't fit in certain parts, right. You know, and or some people end up being a very small part. But, you know, the crazy part is when you're doing this aggregate kind of filmmaking, one person's line, the most, I already know there's one line, and it's probably the only time you're going to see this one guy in Unmasking Hope. But his line is so powerful, it's going to be like, whoa, it's a changing point for the whole film.
Right.
So the rest of a story, maybe not, you know, and it's not, but it's also not judging somebody's story. It's seeing what serves the film, right. The truth, the healing, and the hope, and achieving that kind of metaphysical spiritual product. I mean, Unmasking Hope is going to be, as I say, Unmasking Hope is either going to be a good film, which will be okay, or it's going to be a freaking amazing film because of all these little pieces that we have and all these different people, and it's going to achieve this kind of. My overall goal is to affect people on a level that they don't even know they're being affected on.
Right. Wow. That's incredible. That's incredible. I don't envy your position, but that's, that's the director's job. Do you have any, we're last few minutes here, any story, any memorable standout, maybe something that's going to entice somebody that, I'm going to have to go watch that now. But any story, just all your years doing this and the documentaries, anything, any story, just, you want to share at this moment.
There, gosh, a lot of ones come up, and some are very.
And there's no filter on the show, by the way, so you can say whatever you want.
The one thing I remember when I first. I knew the power of my films, and I knew, the New York Times reviews and the letters and things I was getting, but I was really struck once by the power of the film and what it can do. It was back with Homecoming: A Vietnam Vet's Journey. I was at Rolling Thunder, and I'm sure a lot of guys out in the audience know what Rolling Thunder is.
Oh yeah.
And documentary filmmaking is my calling, not necessarily my commerce. Thank God for my wife and our other businesses. So we're out in Washington, D.C. I don't know how long ago. I know the kids were about 5 years old or so, and we're trying to sell a few DVDs on the mall during Rolling Thunder, and we had Homecoming: A Vietnam Vet's Journey out there. And this big old dude comes up, and he starts asking around, is like, is the director of this film around here somewhere? And I'm like, uh-oh. I hope he's not pissed for some reason, And I'm in the back of the booth, and I come out and introduce myself, and he's starting to get teary-eyed. And he said, "You know what?" He goes, "I just wanted to thank you and give you a big hug because," he goes, "I saw this film on public television, and it made me cry. And I bought the DVD and sent it to my dad."
Wow.
He goes, "My dad watched it and then called me and apologized for the way he treated me when I came home from Vietnam." He goes, and his dad said, "Now I understand." He goes, "I see my dad all the time now, and we're best buddies." He goes, "Thank you." So what do you do with that? I mean, oh my, it just fills you up more, it fills you up more than if somebody just brought a bucket full of money, because you can't compare that. And so that's the things, that's why I do this, to know that I'm throwing something out there in that pond, and those ripples, I don't know where they're going to go and who they're going to affect, but I'm honored every time anytime I get my little report about who's been watching Searching for Home, or when somebody buys. I love when somebody buys a DVD, and I don't sell a lot. It's not a full-on business, because it's just, but I can go into that whole thing. But you know what? But anybody that buys it, I am so honored that they would put their money and watch my work, and that it affects them. That they want. I just sold a copy of a DVD, and somebody wrote this little note. "Oh, I can't really wait to show it to my family over the holidays."
Wow.
Because it helps them explain something that they can't explain. And so, wow, if God's given me this gift to be able to do that, that's pretty darn cool.
That's so cool. All right. Well, I mean, thank you so much for sharing all this stuff with us and kind of taking us through it. Hopefully, come September next year, if you want to come on, and we'll talk about the next one and do a deep dive, and I don't know, exclusive, a giveaway. I don't know. We'll figure something out. But we'd love to have you back.
I would love that. We'll do the promotion tour, and I would love to hang out with you guys again and talk about that, because it's going to be a whole different world when that thing's put together.
For sure.
I'll be a little bit relieved, but I love the process.
Right.
I went to California Institute of the Arts in the 80s, and it was all about the process.
Mm.
And I love the process.
That's awesome. No, we really appreciate you so much for being here. Guys, we're going to take a short break and we'll be back in a few minutes. More Pop Culture Warrior. Thank you to my guest, Eric Christiansen, for stopping by, talking about his amazing work. Guys, check him out. We posted the links to his work in the chats. Go ahead and check it out. We'll be right back after a short break. Hang on.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio. The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hey guys, what is up? We are back. We got a little bit more show for you. Mr. Radar, are you with me, buddy?
I'm here, buddy.
Oh,
I'm always here.
Oh, it's so good to hear you.
It's Radar.
How's it going, man? So, hey, dude, what about that guy? I mean, my goodness.
Dude,
wow. That was awesome.
I absolutely love it, dude. I fucking love it.
Oh, that's
it's great when we get guys who actually give a shit and like go out of their way. Like,
I hear you.
Especially like, I don't know. I guess I don't know how old your dad is, but I know, my dad and his buddies are all Vietnam guys and stuff, and so they didn't get the love that we got when we got back.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to see those guys, like people that bring that to light and kind of remind people that it hasn't always been this way. It hasn't always been the fucking big parades and shit,
Yeah. The thank you for your service.
Back from OEF, or, even the Desert Storm guys. I remember being a kid and the Desert Storm guys coming in and, having the big fucking parades and everything. And my dad be like, yeah, whatever. I got off the plane and got spit on. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
So.
Quick question. Do you want to put your camera back on?
I guess. Hey y'all, it's Radar.
I tried to throw it to you and it was a big old Skype circle and I'm like, oops.
Hey y'all.
Sorry about it.
Sorry about it.
See, now it's doing that weird thing where you're bigger. There it goes. It takes a second to snap back.
Can I leave my glasses on?
Yeah. Why not? Why not?
Well, because I know I get all glary and shit here.
Yeah, you got. Yeah.
You glasses. You'll glare.
No, man, but that was so cool. Being able to I'm always fascinated by filmmaking, really anything creative. It fascinates me beyond belief. But there is a special something about documentaries, especially documentaries about people, right? Because everybody's story is unique. Everybody's story is their own. You're playing with someone else's stuff. You know what I mean? Like it. That's yeah.
You feel a certain like.
There's a weight. There's a weight to that.
But you feel a certain obligation.
Yeah.
To tell their story as close to the events as you can.
Right.
And I think that's a big reason why I could never do that job, because I just be like, this story sucked. I'm gonna fix it. No, I'm just kidding.
but no, like think of like, how many people were like, oh, I got cast to play such and such comic book character, and there's such a weight to, portraying the character, true to the character, and they take that so serious.
Right.
But now take it that, oh, you survived one of the deadliest XYZs of all time. Tell me about it, and I'm gonna make a movie about it. And it's like, wow, there's some weight, there's some pressure in capturing, the unfathomable, and putting it for people to see. It's, I remember back when, obviously 9/11 happened, and then they started making the movies, right? The Trade Center movies, with the guys trapped in the rubble, and it's like, wow, how do you, like, that's a weight to, obviously it's not a documentary, but you're trying to show what happened to these people, or United 93, or those movies where you're telling the last moments of these people's lives, and man, the weight and the the seriousness and the gravitas of something like that is just, whew, I can't imagine. But I'm very curious. I'm gonna check out his stuff for sure, and hopefully, if people are interested, we'll have him on in the future, and we'll check out the next movie. I'm curious. I'm fascinated, man. I would like to. I think, and he kind of touched on it. Too quickly does it become, well, why haven't you gotten over it? Or at the very least, like, okay, it's been some time. Let's move on to the next thing. And I want to hear those stories. I want to hear those stories. How are they doing? What happened after that? Where are they at? Where are they at now? Right. I'm very fascinated to hear those stories, and about the other traumas as well. You know, I mean, we've all suffered trauma. I think, especially military, we've done things to ourselves, to others, had things happen around us. There's just a ton of trauma. But just in general, you know, get into a car accident, that's trauma. You know, you get into whatever. You see someone hit by a bus, that's trauma. So I'm very fascinated.
Well, and yeah, and to like have, I mean, I don't know, like I listen, you know, I listen to people, I you know, lose a relative or something like that, you know, I know I'm really close to someone who lost a brother, and so like, you know, we were talking about that, and they were really, it was really hard, you know, and you see a little bit of parallels in between it, you know, of the reactions you have, you know, to losing a friend on the battlefield to them losing their brother in a car accident or something. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of that same kind of trauma, and people can relate to that, you know?
Very true.
So you don't have, I guess that's something that we were talking about. Like, if I say I have PTSD, I have whatever, I battled this, I battled these demons, I battled whatever, I have anxiety, whatever. It's kind of okay. Like you almost get like you almost get like written off because you're a veteran. Like, okay, yeah, it's some shit. You know what I mean? But you look at this person and you wouldn't think outwardly like they've done nothing really with their life as far that would make you think like that they had like a traumatic experience.
Right.
And so when they felt that their feelings were very much dismissed because they weren't a veteran, kind of. And I'm like, no, I understand.
Yeah.
That you can be traumatized by these events. I get it. I'm sorry about it.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I don't know. That's a way bigger pay grade than the old radar. Radar ain't fixing the world. You know what I mean?
Sorry about it. World screwed up. No, I did. I had a good friend who got into a pretty bad car accident. Luckily, walked away, no scratches, no nothing, but so shaken up that they couldn't drive for a while. And I mean, that's PTSD. That's a post-traumatic. It was a traumatic event. This is post the traumatic event, and it's causing difficulties in their life. The way they have to change the way they do their life because of the stress and the memories and the nightmares and all that. So like that is, you know, obviously it's different, but it's the same in essence.
It is, yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, maybe not exactly the same, but it definitely has a lot of parallels.
Sure.
And I think that was kind of something that we kind of, you know, we broke down, like when you're in combat or when you're going to combat, right? When you're on the fucking on the tarmac and you're getting ready to load on that 407 or where the fuck that giant bird is that flies you to Kuwait, right? And then you hit boots on the ground in Iraq. Like that whole time, like you know where you're going, right? And you know what your job is going to be, and you know it's not safe, basically, right? Unless you're like, I don't know, some pogue who fucking sits in Kuwait or some shit, because Kuwait's not a real deployment. But anyway.
And so, there goes most of the audience.
But I'm just saying, for that time period, whilst you're in Iraq, you don't know, like, if you go leave the wire, if you have an actual job, then you run the risk of getting hurt.
Yeah.
And your buddy's getting hurt, and seeing that the things, right? If you're just randomly driving your car to fucking, you don't think about that. I don't get my pickup when I go to work in the morning. Be like, oh, I could get in a car accident and fucking kill somebody today. Right. I don't think about that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there is a little bit of difference there where you are a little bit high strung, maybe for a time period whilst you're deployed, especially while you're downrange deployed, that you don't necessarily have while you're here in the States or to someone like this person I was talking about. But the event itself can be just as traumatic, if not more so, because you don't expect it. right? Like when you hop in your truck and you leave the wire, you expect to have some sort of engagement,
Yeah.
right?
You anticipate
Whereas
it. Yeah.
you don't expect to get a phone call at 2 o'clock in the morning saying your brother's dead.
Yeah.
No one expects that. So it's a little bit different. I mean, it's almost worse
It's
for the
different.
people who aren't in combat.
Yeah. But trauma's trauma. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It affects us differently. We handle it differently. We process it differently. We anticipate it differently. But at the end of the day, trauma's trauma.
And that's the same thing too. Like we talk about, like you and I are the guys that I serve with or whatever. You can take 10 people and have them witness the same event, and they're going to have 10 different reactions to the same event.
Big time.
So, yeah, mental health's fucked up, man.
But important.
It is very important. I'm glad I don't fucking get through it and then the weeds do. Where
Talk.
like, well,
talk to somebody. You guys, we're here for you. Talk to somebody. You people out there. Hey, what's up, Captain Wayne? I see Captain Wayne out there, and he's right there with us. He says, I've gone through waves of PTSD, still dealing with it at 42. God bless you, man. I mean, I'm about to hit 37, and my traumatic experience happened in 2005. I still, every day is not peachy keen, man, and it's a process, and it's,
I love how I put it though as waves. I like that.
Yeah, it's up and down.
I never thought of explaining it like that because I mean, you have your high points and your low points. You really do.
Absolutely. It's a roller coaster. Yeah. It's a freaking roller coaster. Sometimes you're doing loop the loops. I mean, you're in the corkscrew and you're just like doing the sideways thing. Like it's
and the whole time you feel kind of like you want to throw up.
you get the butterflies and then you get the But no, it's true, man. We joke about it, but it's a real thing. And I know so many people who have gone through so much less trauma than most of us veterans who struggle to cope. So the fact that, what we go through and how we process and the fact that we fight and keep trying, stay positive, guys. Stay positive. If you're going through some stuff, talk. Best thing for you.
Well, like we said, I know, like me, my radar page it's linked to my phone. So if you need some shit, text me or whatever and message my page, and I will get back to you as soon as I can.
There you go. Yeah.
So
Radar's on call 24 hours a day just for you.
Radar sleeps. So if it's some fucking 4 a.m. bullshit, I may or may not be awake. So don't be like, fucking Radar, I texted him and he said any time at fucking 3:30 in the morning. I was no, sorry about it. I'll help.
Sorry about it.
What I can. And here's the other thing too.
When I'm on duty.
I'm not if you think I'm professional, anything other than professional, fuck off. That's on you.
Yeah.
But I will help the best of my ability, and I will point you in the direction to people who are professionals.
We got to play one of those disclaimers. All the advice given to you here at Pop Culture Warrior on WTF Nation Radio is not void.
All the advice given by Radar is probably fucked. Sorry about it.
We are not liable for anything you do with the advice or words we say. Hey, before we head out, I got a little bit of news for you here. Let's switch over to one of your favorite topics to talk about. Carol Baskin. But it's not Carol Baskin. It's about Tiger King. Tiger King. What new developments do we have about the Tiger King case? Well, you might remember from Tiger King, a little old man by the name of Doc Antle. Remember Doc Antle?
I love Doc.
You love Doc. Well, I got some news about Doc.
Some Doc news.
Bhagavan, which is his first name, Bhagavan Doc Antle, owner of the Myrtle Beach Safari in South Carolina, was charged with 2 felonies and 13 misdemeanors related to the trafficking of lion cubs to a Mr. Keith Wilson of Virginia, he's been under investigation for years by the Virginia's Attorney General. And so 2 of Doc Antle's daughters, Tawny Antle, Tillicum Watterson, were also charged with misdemeanors related to animal cruelty and violation of the Endangered Species Acts. His wives / girlfriends / polygamous cult ladies have remained unaccused. The Endangered Species Act prohibits the sale of lions across state lines. Wait, I don't know why that's the thing. Like, it's not that you can't sell lions. It's you just can't sell lions across state lines. Like, that's such a strange, strange distinction.
Have you not ever read the Constitution?
I mean,
have you ever heard of Interstate Commerce Clause at all?
No, actually, I can honestly say no.
The only thing, okay, read the Constitution. It's great because literally the only thing the Constitution, or the federal government can do is regulate interstate commerce. Right? Do you know that?
I did not. I learned something.
Yeah, that's a fucking thing. That's basically, if you actually read the papers, that's all they're allowed to do.
Radar's law minute. we're gonna start a segment. Radar's law minute.
Science guy, dude. Yeah, seriously. Like, the federal government cannot. This is okay. Political science 101. Okay. The federal government back in the day, when the Constitution was written and all that, it was a lot more like the EU, right? Mm. Each of the states, the colonies, were their own states. In the old term, were countries. Okay, like Germany is a state, France is a state, right? That's Massachusetts was it's a Commonwealth, whatever. But anyway, they were all individual countries, and they were brought together under the Constitution, right? And that was basically for mutual defense and commerce. For two reasons that was a big thing. So that's like, I just gave you like a whole year of political science boiled down into like 2 seconds, right? But that's
good stuff.
So the only thing the feds are allowed to do is interstate commerce.
There you go. So
you can't sell tigers across state lines, Doc. Fucking read the papers.
There you
go.
There. So you're a doctor. He's not a doctor. He's a doc.
I said doc. I didn't say doc.
He's a doctor. Virginia's Attorney General office charged Doc Antle specifically with 1 felony count of wildlife trafficking, 1 felony count of conspiracy to wildlife traffic, 4 misdemeanor counts of conspiracy to violate the Endangered Species Act, and 9 misdemeanor counts of animal cruelty, after a months-long investigation found that Antle and Wilson had trafficked lion cubs between Virginia and South Carolina. The Animal Law Unit seized 119 animals from Wilson in August, including lions, tigers, bears, camels, goats, and water buffalo, all of which were found to be living in inadequate conditions. Yeah. So that's a thing.
But did you look to see if the daughters were hot?
I didn't check. That wasn't the first thing that sprung to my mind. I should.
All right. I'll research it.
All right. That's your homework for this week, is to find out if his daughter's hot. Fun fact. I did pull this fun fact. Doc Antle claims his title comes from a doctorate earned at the Chinese Science Foundation, which does not exist, not even on the internet.
Not even on the internet?
You can't even find it on the internet. Yes. Okay. Okay.
I mean, I've done worse. Let's be honest.
Majorly. Anyway.
I mean,
but yeah, so just.
It looked kind of like what you'd expect Doc Antle's daughters to look like.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what I was expecting. Like,
you've seen his concubines, so you gotta expect.
Yeah, they're solid 7s.
Anyway, so so your boy's doctorate comes from the made-up Chinese Science Foundation.
Hey, you know what? I wish I had a made-up Chinese science thing.
I mean, if he's a doctor, I'm just gonna go ahead and state that from now on I'm a knight. I'm Sir CQ.
You can do that. You can buy like a fucking centimeter of land in Ireland for like a penny or some shit.
That would make you a lord. See, I distinguished myself. I'm not a lord, a knight. I've been knighted.
You can't just knight yourself.
Well, if he can be a doctor, I can be a knight.
Why don't you?
Not only that, I'm going to be an astronaut knight. I've hereby declared it. I'm a knight of space, a space knight.
A space knight.
I'm forging my path forward as a space knight. There you go. Adding it to business cards. CQ, space knight.
Better get a hold of fucking old Elon about that shit.
I stake my claim in the land of space.
Yeah, fuck yeah. United States of space.
United States of space. All right, what else? One last bit of just what the fuck. The Journal of Anatomy has found.
You're not going to show them the picture.
Okay, you really do. Does anybody want to see the picture of Doc Ansel's daughter?
I thought I'm doing important research here.
Hey, if someone comments that they actually want to see this, I'll pull it up on screen.
Fine, just whatever. I don't even care. Save them for me. Same with AT&T girl. You wouldn't show her either.
I mean,
she's considerably hotter and not the AT&T clothes.
I mean, yeah.
I'm trying to bring the information that people won't. Are these bitches hot?
I'm bringing the information that people won't. You know what?
Is these bitches hot or not? That's
nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Right, they don't.
Anyway,
they're going to jail anyway.
So, human evolution.
I'm sorry, Eric.
One last.
This guy's a retard.
One last bit of knowledge for you. Dropping the knowledge. The Journal of Anatomy has found that humans are still evolving at a fast pace. Scientists are noticing differences in people being born without wisdom teeth and also extra arteries in their arms.
Why would you have extra? What benefit is that?
Well, who knows? But for some reason, people are being born that way, and we're evolving. So, it kind of makes sense that we wouldn't need wisdom teeth anymore. The whole point of like wisdom teeth was like back in the day before tooth care, you burned out your teeth and then new ones came in, and that's why you needed wisdom teeth. That's obviously not needed anymore with proper hygiene.
I mean,
are wisdom teeth needed?
No.
I mean, I'm asking. I mean, I don't.
Wait, I'm gonna stop you there though.
Okay.
About wisdom teeth, I needed mine.
You needed yours.
See my teeth? They're all fucking gapped and shit, right?
Sure.
My parents spent a fuck ton of money on orthodontics, right? And they were like, "Hey, Mama and Papa Radar, Lord Radar here is gonna need his wisdom teeth to push his shit together to take up the space." Then I fucking go to MEPS and they're like, "Nah, sorry about it." And actually, actually it wasn't until I got to my first duty station they were like, "Nah, you can't have these, dog." And I was like, "What? I grew them myself."
I grew them at home.
Oh,
all right.
Fucking yanked them. Teeth are fucked. Thanks, United States Navy.
Here you go. I'm gonna because two people mentioned it, so here you go.
Yeah.
There's Doc Ansel's kids, Tawny Ansel and Tillicam. Tillicam?
I mean, they're medium.
Tillicam Watterson. I mean, I'm not going to objectify women when I'm being recorded.
I will. I'll tell you right now. You go to any barracks this Friday night, you're gonna see women uglier than that.
I mean, sure, they're attractive. They're attractive.
They're mildly attractive. They're not getting paid to have their pictures taken, but they're all right.
Sure. Anyway, there you go.
Fine. I'll objectify the shit out of them. They're all right. They're sevens.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of another thrilling edition of Pop Culture Warrior. It has been an absolute honor having you all with us tonight.
You know what, we didn't finish the evolution thing.
Well, I mean, where else do you want to go with it? I can't answer questions about why we're evolving or where we're what we're
Are they
evolving
just
into.
saying because of the wisdom teeth and the arms? That's
Well,
it.
I mean, those are the most obvious thing. You know, we're evolving at a like genetic level. We're changing. Our atoms and things are changing, but it's showcasing, they're saying, in things like missing wisdom teeth and extra arm arteries. I mean, I wasn't part of the study, so I really couldn't tell you any more than that.
Okay.
I'm skimming the report here, bud.
All right. Well, I said no. Like, if there was more, and I cut you off with
No, that was pretty much the end of it.
daughter's boobs hanging out.
Very distracting.
But okay, no. But on the evolution thing, real quick, right?
Yeah.
Did it say like where we're going?
I mean, I wasn't
with that?
part
Are we
of the
getting
study,
taller?
so
Are we getting shorter? Are we getting
anymore.
fatter? Because when I hear, this is me, wrap this back into pop culture to finish it out.
Sure.
When I hear we're evolving,
you're thinking superpowers.
No, opposite, idiocracy. That's where I see evolving.
You think we're devolving?
Yes.
I mean, there is a case for that, sure.
I mean, but you see what I'm saying? Though,
yeah,
right?
I got you.
Wisdom teeth, yeah, I can see pulling them out, not pulling out, whatever. But essentially, we're getting worse.
Honestly, you know what I could see happening? You go anywhere in public, and what do you see people doing? The whole head down because of looking at their phone. Like, imagine like 200 years in the future when like everyone just has like a humpback, because that's just, for centuries we've been doing the looking down at the phones.
Hear me out.
Oh, here comes everybody stand by. We've got a radar pitch coming. Here we go. What do you got?
Hear me out here once, okay? The gray aliens are time travelers, and that's us in the future. All hunched over, gray and paley, because we don't leave the fucking house. We just sit inside on our phones all the time. Big eyes, see our phones better. No muscles. All we do is play with our phones.
You know what? I'm so used to dismissing your ideas.
Which I don't blame you.
But I could see like an alien movie where the twist is that the aliens are us, not us, but our society from the future coming back. And like you said, they look the way they look because of, kind of like when you saw Wall-E and all the people in the future all fat using the hover chairs. But like, this is yeah. I could see a yeah, I could get behind that.
I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer or anything. And like Captain Wayne just said, Idiocracy is the first fiction movie that's turning into a documentary. Well, that in 1984.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm just saying, like,
I could get behind that.
To do is play on our phones. How much handier would bigger eyeballs be?
Yeah, your eyes is bigger. You grayed out from not, Amazon has put every job, every store out of business. Yeah.
Now we all got cell phone neck. That's what the extra blood vessels are for, to power your thumbs for when you're texting.
It could be.
Yeah.
Could
See?
be.
I'm on this tonight. You thought you thought I was just great radar. No, I'm serious right now. This could be a thing.
Oh man, God bless, bro. I kind of want to pitch this idea. I kind of want to pitch this idea somewhere. We gotta get some screenwriters on here. We'll do a pitch. True story. Kevin Smith got high on a podcast and was just rambling off, and they were talking about some story that he had read in the paper or something like that, and starts spitting off. He goes, "Okay, I got this idea for a movie," and next thing you know, he made Tusk, the movie Tusk. Literally, it's Tusk is a movie he came up with on a podcast, sitting there blazed out of his mind and laughing at the ridiculousness of this kernel of a story that he had, and or that he had read about, and then he spun this whole movie, and then they made it. So just saying, one day we might be able to track. If a movie comes out about aliens that are just us from the future, all jacked up, we're going to timestamp this moment here, and we're gonna track it back. Just saying.
Look, and here. You know what? If someone's out there listening and they're like, "This is a great screenplay idea. I'm gonna write this up. I'm gonna do it." Okay. Radar don't want to be rich. Radar don't need Lambo money. Radar just needs like new mountain bike money. That's all Radar needs. Like, making me like 10 grand.
Yeah, don't.
Cool. I'll sign the rights over for like 10 grand.
Oh my god. Oh man.
I'm just in it for the bike, man. I'm trying to figure out how to buy a new mountain bike. I don't even care about it.
Joe just said Radar with the big brain move. You got the big brain move. There you go.
No, but seriously, if anybody out there right now is like, I wonder what I should get Radar for Christmas. I wear a size medium mountain bike.
Medium. Let's be honest. I'm gonna get you a mountain bike, but it's gonna be like the girl version one. Just to screw with you.
I don't care. I'll just paint it. I'll get the
Anyway, thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. This has been an absolute blast. We look forward to it every week. I enjoy getting to geek out with you all. Radar, did you learn something today? Did you get some takeaways?
So much, dude. I did learn a lot. I actually did. Even though it was about 3 hours after I should have learned it all day.
Well, hey, thank you guys for hanging out with us. We will see you guys next week with much more Pop Culture Warrior. Lots of fun coming up.
The show lineup, or are we not doing that anymore?
Yeah, I guess that's fine.
I mean, I can't. I'll burn through it.
No, yeah. Radar, tell the people at home what they have to look forward to the rest of the week.
The rest of the week? All right. Well, you have been listening to Pop Culture Warrior with CQ and Radar. And tomorrow night is Wednesday. That is a Donza day. We have a day of no scheduled activities. We will have nothing going on. We'll be hanging out with our families and friends. Thursday, Ice, Spanky, Sergeant's time. All things Army, National Guard, Active Duty Reserve, all the things, right? I think there might be a little thing going on at Fort Hood they might talk about. Not sure about it. Friday Night Freedom, Cause, Pookie, good show. They're funny. They're awesome. Check them out. Saturday, Sunday, off. Monday edition, Ice, Flash, stuff. Just all different kinds of stuff. Whatever whatever Ice and Flash want to rant about, they'll hit it up. Current events, okay? Going back to us, Tuesdays, I'll find things that CQ already knows on Pop Culture Warrior on Tuesdays. Thanks for hanging out.
Oh, man. God bless. Guys, thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Shots.
You